Okay, so here is essentially my drawing adapted from Peter Nixon's work of the human function curve. And uh, on the vertical line is performance, and on the horizontal line is the amount of energy in the body. And what they discovered, what Nixon discovered and others have discovered since, is that as energy goes up in the body, performance, ability to perform on various physical and mental tasks also goes up to a point. And then at a certain point, it plateaus a little, and then it uh, so what Nixon and others discovered was that as energy level goes up, so does performance in terms of mental and physical abilities for a while to a point, but then when there's too much energy for too long, the performance actually levels off and then it declines sharply like this. So just to make this a little more uh, obvious, say this point at the very beginning is when you wake up in the morning. And the second you wake up, your ability to perform on a mathematics test or give a public speech or swim in a race or drive your car is very low. But as you start to move around and you become more alert, your ability to perform on all kinds of things increases as you get more energy into your body. This continues to go up until a certain point at which too much energy in the body, you're no longer able to perform well. So for example, if you're having a day where you're extremely stressed and you have to drive your car, but you're just anxious outside of your mind, your ability to perform well in the task of driving would get progressively worse as your anxiety goes higher and higher. The same thing would be for all kinds of other tasks you would need to do, from having a challenging conversation to navigating various work stressors to taking exams. And so there's this line, and um, it's right here on the curve, which Nixon dotted as the fatigue line. And up to that line, stress, in the terms of thinking of it in terms of the amount of energy in the body, is not actually a bad thing when it comes to performance. But past that line, it becomes a bad thing. So I'll go ahead and write that text in real quick. Um, so on this side of the line is basically healthy stress. And over on this side is unhealthy stress or distress. On the left side of the line, over here, there's not really major symptoms. Whereas on, or we could say few symptoms as a result of too much stress. On the other side of the line, however, you start to have a lot of symptoms, such as physical, you know, issues and various things. So when we're talking about just on a daily basis, how to use this curve and what emotional regulation is, what we're trying to do is bring the energy down from the tip of this curve back down even just a little bit. So if you think of this in terms of some of the skills we're going to learn, for example, taking a few deep breaths. The goal of that is not necessarily to come all the way back down to zero, like you're laying on the beach for hours at a time, or you're sleeping in your bed. The goal of emotional regulation typically through the day is just to bring it down out of this red zone to where you're in an optimal functioning zone, or even if you've gone past the line of fatigue, to bring it back a little bit. And so we're just looking to lower the energy level, even 5, 10, 15, 20% to get you feeling better. So if you think right now um, of a stressful moment you might encounter today or tomorrow, um, and you just notice how much energy you feel in your body. Um, Notice where that tension shows up in your body, because the amount of energy always shows up as physical tension in the body. So notice where you feel that. And then I'll invite you to take a deep breath in and actually flex those muscles, tense them up even more. Hold your breath and then release slowly. And let all those muscles relax. And then one more time, breathe in. Tense for a minute. Hold it and then breathe out. Relax. Okay. Now I want you to think about the same circumstance and notice if your tension is a little bit lower. It doesn't take a lot. Just bringing it down a little bit can do enough to keep our brain online and to keep us able to perform at a high level. Not just performance in terms of judgment by others, but performance in terms of being able to make the decisions that align with our values and the person we want to be. So that's a brief description of what we're talking about in terms of seeing stress as energy in the body, and seeing that stress is not necessarily a bad thing when you think of it in terms of energy. It becomes a bad thing when there's too much stress for too long and you get over here onto the far right side of the curve, where your ability to be yourself, to think clearly, and to function goes down because there's just too much energy, too much stress in the body. And a lot of the skills in this, in the things that I teach clients and in the courses I have, are just simple ways of bringing the stress down just a little bit so that you can stay in that optimal window of functioning well and performing well and being yourself. All right. Thank you so much.